Redwood is a town just big enough to feature high-rise buildings and a bustling downtown, yet small enough that most residents know each other. The streets are lined with maple trees, old-fashioned shop signs, and a modest shopping center. A small river flows near Redwood, historically known for its lumber mills. The bright red color of harvested wood gave the town its name. On the western side of Redwood, wealthy neighborhoods and imposing houses give way to large educational institutions. Redwood High School sits along a birch-lined avenue, about a 15-minute bus ride from the central square. Cafes, boutiques, and an old park encircle the school, forming a tight-knit community for locals and students alike. Redwood High School is a modern 3-story red brick building arranged in a U-shape. In the middle stands a wide, grassy field where students gather during lunch breaks or for extracurricular projects. Separate from the main academic buildings is the sports complex, home to a multi-purpose gym and athletic fields for football or basketball. Indoor hallways connect classrooms, labs, and the principal's office, all plastered with flyers for clubs such as theater, science, music, and more. Every morning, hundreds of students of various ages and backgrounds hurry through the front entrance. It's a lively, diverse environment on the surface. But Redwood High is not without its darker sides: hidden discrimination, the influence of powerful cliques, and incidents of bullying that go unreported or ignored. Trevor Wilson is a 16-year-old black student. He's around 5'7", 170 cm, with a slender build, short curly black hair, and deep, thoughtful eyes framed by long eyelashes, lending him a perpetually pensive look. He usually wears a plain hoodie, faded jeans, and worn-out sneakers, trying his best not to stand out in a predominantly white school. Trevor keeps to himself and doesn't have many friends. Despite the anxieties and fears he faces each day at school, he perseveres in his classes. He never blames anyone for the color of his skin or his family's circumstances. His father passed away in a car accident a few years back, leaving his mother, Lydia, working as a supermarket cashier. Trevor's most cherished memento from his father, Robert Wilson, is an old notebook full of martial arts techniques and life philosophies, a precious legacy he always keeps close. Alexander Holden, often called Alex, is a 17-year-old senior from a wealthy and influential family. His parents own real estate, hotels, and even hold seats on the state's educational board. Alex is tall at around 5'11", 180 cm, with blonde hair neatly trimmed and a strikingly attractive face. He prefers expensive clothes, often appearing in designer jackets and brand-name sneakers. For Alex, Redwood High School is his personal stage, where he flaunts his clout thanks to the backing of his powerful parents. Because of his parents' busy careers, Alex was indulged from a young age. At school, he wields an invisible authority. His money and family name buy him loyalty from certain peers. Those who displease him risk social ostracism or direct retaliation. He has 2 close associates: Derek Brown, a brawny white boy, known for his rude behavior, often seen playing football. Carl Watson, shorter than Derek, sly and cunning, with a knack for pulling nasty pranks. These 3 form a relentless bullying clique. Trevor is their favorite target, deemed the perfect victim due to his quiet nature, racial minority status, and general reluctance to fight back. Each morning, Trevor rides his bike from home through quiet residential streets, always watching his back, afraid of bumping into Alex's group. The dread builds all the way to Redwood High's front gate. The front courtyard buzzes with students chatting about the latest basketball game, upcoming weekend outings, or gossip about teachers. Trevor keeps his head low, clutching his books against his chest as though they were a shield. He scurries through the crowd, wanting to reach his classroom as quickly as possible. Sometimes Trevor manages to avoid Alex entirely, but on certain unlucky days Alex, Derek, and Carl spot him in the hallway. They often sneer, "Hey, you, move it! Check out that loser's face." Carl might shove Trevor against the lockers, scattering his books, while Alex looks on, smirking. Several students notice but often look away, too intimidated to speak up. Others laugh along just to stay on Alex's good side. Trevor has thought about reporting Alex to a teacher. Once in chemistry class, after Alex insulted him, Trevor worked up the courage to approach Ms. Thompson. She simply murmured, "Okay, let's not take jokes too far. then resumed her lesson. Alex snickered in triumph while Derek and Carl high-fived, mocking Trevor. That was the moment Trevor realized most adults prefer not to escalate childish pranks, or possibly dismiss them as normal teen behavior. His classmates didn't intervene either. Some feared Alex's retribution. Others simply didn't care. Hence, Trevor endures in silence. If Redwood High is Trevor's daily battlefield, then his salvation every afternoon lies at Suzuki Martial Arts Academy. Trevor bikes across the busier avenues of Redwood, passing an old gas station before turning into a narrow alleyway behind a row of dilapidated warehouses. A faded wooden sign reads, Suzuki Martial Arts Academy. From the outside, it appears to be just a rusting, low-roofed building with peeling paint. Yet inside, the place is full of life and discipline, buzzing with students of all ages practicing under the strict but caring eye of Master Norio Suzuki. Master Suzuki, a Japanese man in his 50s, is not physically large, but he exudes a rock-solid presence. He has short salt and pepper hair and keen eyes that reflect his years of martial arts experience. He rarely speaks more than necessary. A few simple words are all it takes to convey his unwavering confidence to those around him. Trevor has practiced martial arts since he was 7, when his father, Robert Wilson, was still alive. Robert had been a former Marine, returning home and finding solace at the Suzuki Academy. He took Trevor along, teaching him that martial arts were not for aggression, but for self-defense and personal discipline. Once Trevor asked his father why they trained with moves they never used in real life. Robert smiled. "We don't learn these techniques to start fights, son. We learn them so we can defend ourselves and control our emotions if a fight comes to us." Those words stayed with Trevor. Then tragedy struck. One stormy night, Robert died in a car crash. Trevor and his mother were left alone. Ever since, Trevor continues his martial arts training to preserve the memory and ideals his father left behind. Each evening when Trevor enters the dojo, the familiar smell of old mats, musty wood, and sweat calms his nerves. But lately, the stress from Alex's bullying casts a shadow. Sometimes Trevor arrives early to warm up, only for Master Suzuki to notice his tense demeanor. "Trevor," the master addresses him in a low voice, "is something troubling you?" Trevor shakes his head, forcing a smile. However, Master Suzuki's perceptive gaze is not easily fooled. "You may hide your feelings from the world, but never from yourself. Face what you fear, sooner or later." Trevor knows the fear is Alex, the boy whose threats and humiliation follow him incessantly. Yet Trevor can't imagine using violence for revenge. He remembers his father's rule: never attack unless there's no other way. But each day the pressure grows. One evening, Trevor finishes late at the dojo. Street lamps cast dim yellow pools of light on graffiti-strewn walls. Trevor tugs his hoodie over his head, guiding his bike out of the alley. He doesn't realize someone is waiting. Suddenly a mocking voice echoes, "Huh, a black kid learning martial arts. What a joke, trying to become a TV hero?" Trevor's heart pounds. He looks up to see Alex leaning against the brick wall, arms folded, Derek and Carl lurking nearby. The deserted alley is narrow, with little chance of help. Alex steps forward. "So Trevor, you think your fancy moves are going to stop us? You think learning a few kicks will protect you now?" Derek jeers loudly. "Yeah, let's see you karate chop your way out of this, tough guy." Carl whistles mockingly. Trevor says nothing, attempting to look calm, but inside he's panicking. He grips his bike handles, trying to edge past them. "Whoa, hold up," Alex says, blocking Trevor's way. "What's your hurry? Didn't even say hello. Are you that scared?" Trevor clenches his jaw, resisting the urge to snap back. Alex's voice grows menacing. "Don't let me hear another word about that dojo of yours. If I want, I can make something very unpleasant happen to that place." Trevor's stomach knots in fear. Alex isn't just threatening him, he's threatening the only sanctuary Trevor has. Trevor braces himself, gently pushes Alex's hand away. "Don't touch that dojo." He then walks his bike around them, leaving behind their jeering laughter. His chest is tight, anger swirling inside, but the worry about them harming the dojo overrides his fury. Trevor wonders how much longer he can endure. Following the alleyway incident, Alex intensifies his bullying. The next morning, Trevor arrives at school to find racial slurs spray-painted on his locker. Students crowd around, some gawking, some snickering. Trevor feels sick, tears threatening to well up, but he just wipes off the vile words in silence, fists clenched. The harassment worsens. Notes with hateful insults appear on his desk. During PE class, Derek accidentally shoves Trevor to the floor. When confronted, Derek just shrugs. "I didn't mean it." The PE teacher only mutters, "Be more careful next time." One afternoon, Trevor arrives early at the dojo only to freeze in shock. Vile words and crude images have been spray-painted on the outer walls, targeting black people. The sight of the sacred training hall soiled with hate stirs a storm of anger in Trevor's chest. He sees Master Suzuki quietly scrubbing the paint, calm as ever. "We'll clean this up, Trevor," the older man says. "Don't let such filth linger in your heart." But Trevor can't stay calm. He knows Alex is responsible. He can't stand seeing his cherished haven defiled. He begins to question whether tolerating it all might be a mistake. At home, Trevor often lies awake at night, flipping through the old notebook left by his father. It's filled with principles on respect, kindness, and managing anger. A true martial artist, one page reads, does not just conquer others, but conquers himself. These words remind him not to let hate consume him. Still, the images of Alex's smug face and the obscene graffiti at the dojo churn inside him. He wonders if silence truly remains the right path. Trevor's mother, Lydia Wilson, a gentle but weary woman in her early 40s, works evening shifts at the supermarket, returning home around 10. One evening, she notices Trevor's haggard look and asks what's wrong. Reluctantly, he shares a bit about the bullying, not naming Alex specifically. Her face pales with concern. "Maybe you can transfer to another school?" Trevor shakes his head. He doesn't want to abandon Redwood High, believing that running away isn't a solution. Lydia sighs. "Just be safe, please. If it goes too far, tell me. I'll figure something out." Trevor knows that in reality, his mother's limited means can hardly stand up to the powerful Holden family. One evening, Trevor stays late in the school library to finish an English paper. By the time he packs up, dusk has fallen. The corridor leading to the back parking lot is almost deserted. Outside, the overhead lamps cast pale rings of light, creating ghostly shadows on the pavement. Trevor heads to retrieve his bike, unaware that Alex is waiting, flanked by Derek and Carl. Their presence warns him immediately. They're not here to chat. Alex steps forward, voice dripping with contempt. "You think I haven't noticed your little martial arts tricks, Trevor? You think you can take me on now that you know a few moves?" Trevor says nothing, gripping his backpack straps. He has faced Alex's manipulative words many times, but something tonight feels more ominous. "You must not have learned your lesson yet," Alex growls. "Let me teach it to you one more time." Before Trevor can respond, Carl steps behind him and sprays cold paint across the back of his shirt. A bright red symbol of racial hate emerges. Alex and Derek laugh cruelly. "Now you look more like your kind, right?" Derek sneers. Trevor trembles, mind racing. 4 years of pent-up anger threaten to break free. But it doesn't stop there. Alex snatches the book Trevor is holding, his father's cherished notebook, and tosses it to the ground. The spine cracks. Alex grinds his heel into it. "You don't belong here," he says, voice low, icy with scorn. Trevor freezes as the world seems to stand still. Memories flood his mind, training with his father, nights of lonely frustration, the dojo's defaced wall. The fury, humiliation, and heartbreak fuse together. His limit has been reached. Trevor can't contain it anymore. His fists clench, breath ragged. For the first time in his life, he wants to fight back. He steadies himself, exhaling shakily. Derek and Carl exchange uneasy looks but remain uncertain, for Trevor never fought back before. Alex interprets the rising defiance in Trevor's eyes as bluff. He lunges forward, grabbing Trevor's collar, intending to overpower him. But this time is different. Trevor deftly executes a practiced arm lock, forcing Alex to release his grip. The action is quick, startlingly so, and Alex staggers back, astonished. Pride wounded, Alex roars, slamming his fist toward Trevor's face. Trevor sidesteps, letting Alex's punch hit nothing but air. Seizing the moment, Trevor sweeps Alex's legs. Alex crashes to the concrete. Derek and Carl stare in mute shock. Alex, panting in confusion, has never experienced such humiliation. Trevor picks up his father's notebook, brushing off the dirt. Glancing at Alex on the ground, he speaks with cold, quiet resolve. I don't want to fight, but I'm not afraid of you anymore. Trevor shoulders his backpack and walks away under the flickering streetlights, leaving Alex and his henchmen stunned by the swift defeat. Morning dawns on Redwood High as the news spreads like wildfire. Trevor Wilson took down Alex Holden. The hallways buzz with shocked whispers. Trevor, typically invisible, is the center of gossip. Some admire him for standing up. Others regard him warily. Trevor walks into school, feeling the weight of countless eyes, uncertain about how things will unfold. In the cafeteria, Trevor overhears Alex telling people, "Trevor ambushed me in the parking lot. I had no choice but to defend myself. He came at me like a savage. Look at my arm, still hurting." Alex even sports a bandage, feigning serious injury. Derek and Carl corroborate his story, convincing certain students that Alex was the victim. But many are skeptical, knowing Alex's reputation too well. Trevor feels helpless. He fears the administration might punish him for violence, though he only defended himself. Towards the end of the day, an announcement blares over the PA. "Trevor Wilson, please report to Principal Parker's office immediately." Trevor's stomach drops. So Alex has reported me. In the office, Principal Parker, a stern, silver-haired man with metal-rimmed glasses, sits behind his desk. Next to him is Ms. Campbell, the school counselor, looking concerned. Alex is there, arm in a sling, affecting an air of wounded innocence. "Trevor, I'm very disappointed in you," Principal Parker begins. "Alex says you attacked him. Is there something you want to tell us?" Trevor grips his backpack straps, mouth dry. Before he can speak, Alex interjects. "I don't know what I did to make him so mad, sir. I never wanted violence, but he wouldn't give me a choice." Ms. Campbell looks sympathetically at Trevor. "Trevor, please explain your side. This is a safe space." Just then, the office door opens. Sarah Collins, a tall, soft-spoken girl with her brown hair in a bun, steps inside. Normally reserved, she now stands firm. "I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have something important to say," she announces, looking directly at Principal Parker. "I saw what really happened." Everyone in the room goes silent. Alex's expression flickers with alarm. "You saw it?" the principal asks. "Yes," Sarah answers, voice calm. "I left late yesterday. I passed by the parking lot and saw Alex, Derek, and Carl corner Trevor. They provoked him and attacked first. Trevor was only defending himself. They even sprayed him with paint and stomped on his notebook." Alex, visibly panicked, barks, "She's lying. She wasn't even there." Sarah remains composed. "Check the security camera in the parking lot. I'm sure it recorded everything." Principal Parker's gaze shifts to Alex, then to Miss Campbell, who now looks skeptical of Alex's story. Alex bites his lip, unable to retort. A heavy silence envelops the room. Finally, Principal Parker sighs. Trevor, you may leave for now. We'll continue our investigation." Trevor stands, surprised. "But I said you can leave," Principal Parker repeats, not as harshly as before. Trevor nods and steps out, heart racing. He sees Sarah in the hallway and wants to thank her, but words fail him. She merely gives him a small, reassuring smile. For the first time, he realizes he is not completely alone. In the aftermath, Redwood High is abuzz with fresh rumors. Alex lied about the fight. Cameras caught Alex bullying Trevor. Students gossip. Some who once idolized Alex now turn away. Derek and Carl no longer stand tall either, suddenly unsure how to defend themselves. Alex roams the corridors without the usual adoration or fear, feeling the loss of his so-called empire. His veneer of invincibility has shattered. Trevor finds himself approached by other black students or those who have been bullied. They're timid, but hopeful. "Trevor, would you teach me some self-defense moves? I'm tired of being frightened all the time." At first, Trevor feels awkward. He never thought of himself as a leader. But he empathizes with their desperation. He knows what it's like to feel alone. Trevor visits Master Suzuki for advice. "Master, some of my friends want me to teach them to defend themselves, but I'm worried it might turn into a way to attack others." Master Suzuki replies calmly, "A true warrior doesn't just protect himself. He also helps those around him stand against violence. If you're concerned about misuse, teach them defensive techniques. How to evade, break free, or restrain without causing harm. Use martial arts to stop aggression, not fuel it." These words reassure Trevor of his next steps. Trevor arranges a small practice group after school in the basketball court behind the main building, an area usually less crowded. 5 or 6 students show up, including Marcus, a short black boy who has been mocked for his size, Angela, an Asian American girl teased for her appearance, and others with similar struggles. Trevor teaches them warm-up drills, breathing techniques, and the fundamentals of balance. He explains, "We're focusing on defense first, how to break free if someone grabs you, how to avoid punches or kicks, not necessarily how to beat them up." Initially self-conscious, the group soon warms up. A sense of empowerment grows among them. Word spreads that Trevor is holding secret training sessions. Some suspect he's forming a vigilante gang to take on bullies. But in reality, the group only learns basic evasion and control holds. Alex watches from afar with resentment. Since his credibility dropped, he cannot openly confront Trevor, especially with more people now standing by Trevor's side. An unexpected result. The bullied students bond with one another. They realize they are not alone. Standing together, they start to speak up when they witness intimidation or discrimination, stepping in with a simple, "Hey, leave them alone," or "Don't say that." Bullying still happens, but now fewer bystanders stay silent. Redwood High's atmosphere subtly but surely begins to change. The story largely follows Trevor, but Alex is also grappling with changes. Once the top dog at school, he's now shunned. Teachers eye him warily. Peers whisper behind his back. At home, Alex lives in a grand mansion, more lonely than ever. His parents are away on business most of the time, leaving him free to spend their money. Luxurious rooms and pricey decor do nothing to ease his isolation. Some nights, he stares at his bruised arm, recalling the humiliating defeat in the parking lot. He wonders, how did that quiet kid I always belittled end up defeating me so easily? A part of him feels regret, but his pride still resists accepting responsibility. Occasionally, Derek and Carl stop by, but the mood is awkward. Derek mumbles, "I think we should lay low, man. After all that mess, people are watching us." Carl sighs. "Yeah, my parents told me to stay out of trouble. Everyone sees us as the bad guys now." Alex snaps. "What, you blame me for all this? Trevor's the one who attacked me." But recalling the security footage and Sarah's testimony, Alex knows there's no point denying the truth. His anger has nowhere to go. One afternoon, Trevor notices a flyer about an upcoming statewide martial arts tournament for high schoolers. It's scheduled for next month. Master Suzuki's dojo is invited to participate in forms demonstrations and light sparring matches. Master Suzuki encourages Trevor to sign up for the forms category and light contact competition. Trevor hesitates. He's never officially competed before and doesn't want more attention. Yet he remembers the words in his father's notebook about testing one's limits and not living in fear. Finally, Trevor decides to enter his name. Word of Trevor's planned appearance at the martial arts tournament reaches Alex through a classmate. Jealousy, anger, and unresolved tension flare within Alex. "He's just trying to show off, isn't he?" Alex mutters resentfully. In a burst of pride, Alex recalls some judo lessons he took years ago, though he never continued them. A notion forms in his mind. What if I join the tournament too and finally get my payback? A plan of revenge or redemption germinates in his thoughts. Every day after school, Trevor arrives at the dojo to train. He practices forms, polishes his techniques, and builds stamina. Master Suzuki emphasizes, "Remember, this competition is about skill and discipline, not about hurting an opponent. Keep your spirit calm, your mind clear." Trevor follows his master's instructions diligently, feeling a new confidence grow. Marcus, Angela, and other members of the self-defense group drop by to watch and cheer Trevor. They call him their champion, though Trevor waves it off. "I'm not as strong as you think, I'm just trying to do what's right." His humility endears him to them even more. Meanwhile, Alex discreetly trains at a private fitness center his parents pay for. He hires a personal coach to help refine his grappling and striking. However, Alex lacks patience. All he cares about is defeating Trevor. His coach attempts to teach him technique, but Alex's anger and haste may undermine his progress. The tournament is held in a large sports arena in a nearby city. Spectators fill the stands under bright fluorescent lights. Many Redwood High students come to watch, curious to see Trevor compete. And rumors swirl that Alex might also be participating. Trevor, wearing a white martial arts uniform, stands in the staging area, heart pounding. He's already completed the forms competition and earned high marks. Now he waits for his sparring match. Suddenly, he sees the bracket board. His first match is against Alex Holden. Trevor's pulse quickens. Alex is here? The loudspeaker calls the two names. Trevor steps onto the mat. Alex arrives from the opposite side. The entire crowd hushes, then buzzes with excitement. Marcus, Angela, Sarah, and many Redwood High classmates watch tensely from the stands. Alex wears a black judo-style uniform, face cold, eyes locked on Trevor with unwavering determination. The referee motions for both to bow, then signals them to begin. Round 1. Alex rushes forward aggressively, hoping to overpower Trevor with raw force. Trevor focuses on defense, calmly dodging or blocking while occasionally countering with a foot sweep or a push. He avoids striking back too hard, relying on technique over brute strength. Round 2. Furious at failing to dominate, Alex becomes more reckless. He tries one power move after another, quickly losing stamina. Trevor bides his time until Alex exposes an opening, then uses a clean lock to bring Alex down. The referee awards points to Trevor. Cheers rise from the audience, many Redwood students chanting, "Go Trevor!" Alex's frustration mounts. Round 3, final. Alex summons his remaining energy, desperation flickering in his eyes. He launches a straight punch. Trevor sidesteps, uses a pivot to guide Alex off balance, and sweeps him to the mat with practiced efficiency. Alex hits the ground hard. The referee calls a decisive score. Trevor wins. Applause and cheers erupt from the crowd. Alex lies there in stunned disbelief. Trevor bows as custom dictates, sweat dripping down his face. Trevor breathes heavily, stepping back. He glances down at Alex, who's still on the floor, breathing raggedly. Something in Trevor's chest softens. He extends a hand to help Alex up, a gesture of respect. For a moment, Alex hesitates, then grabs Trevor's hand and stands. The crowd roars. Trevor quietly asks, "Are you okay?" Alex doesn't respond. Head bowed, he walks off the mat without meeting Trevor's gaze. The cheers echo in the arena. Trevor left with a mixture of relief and empathy. Later, as Trevor gathers his gear to leave the sports complex, he spots Alex by a wall, gaze distant, posture defeated. He no longer wears his usual arrogant smirk. "Congratulations," Alex says, voice barely above a mumble. "Thanks," Trevor replies cautiously, unsure of Alex's intentions. Alex exhales, eyes downcast. "You're better than I thought. Not just physically, but in controlling yourself." The admission sounds painful for Alex to utter. Trevor stands quietly. "I'm not always in control, but I try not to let anger dictate what I do." Alex gives a subtle nod, then turns away and disappears into the crowd, leaving behind a lingering sense of unresolved tension, perhaps a muted apology. The very next day, Trevor opens his locker and finds a folded slip of paper tucked inside. It has no signature, just a brief message. "I'm sorry for everything. A.H." Trevor stares at the note, stunned. After a moment, he folds it again and tucks it into his father's old notebook. Sometimes a silent apology is enough to heal part of the hurt. In the weeks that follow, Trevor's name spreads around Redwood High. He's no superhero flaunting his fists. Rather, he's the student who finally refused to cower. Other black students and those once bullied begin to hold their heads higher, trusting that justice can be served when one stands firm. The administration also takes notice. After investigating Alex's lies, Redwood High tightens its anti-bullying policies and addresses racial discrimination. Principal Parker announces new measures, staff training, an anonymous bullying hotline, and zero tolerance for hateful speech. Trevor's self-defense group continues meeting. They don't seek out bullies to fight. Instead, they learn how to react, when to speak up, and how to protect each other. People who once avoided conflict now refuse to stand by in silence. Though Trevor still grieves his father's absence, he no longer faces his battles alone. By sharing his skills, Trevor feels he is honoring his father's legacy, helping others find their strength. As for Alex, he's lost most of his entourage. He appears detached, walking the halls of Redwood High in near solitude. Rumor has it his parents intervened with Principal Parker, paying for damages and offering a formal apology. Alex doesn't lash out at anyone anymore, whether due to shame or deeper introspection. Some see him sitting quietly on the bleachers during Trevor's practice sessions, an odd expression on his face. Sometimes doing wrong leads to a chance for transformation. Seeds of remorse may be buried deep. Whether or not Alex fully changes, at least the cycle of bullying has been broken. When Trevor thinks everything is settling, his mother finds a dusty box of old papers in storage. Inside is a letter from Robert Wilson dated a few months before his fatal accident. She hands it to Trevor. "Your father left this for you in case anything happened. I forgot about it until now." Trevor opens the envelope with trembling hands. His father's handwriting reads, "Dear Trevor, if you're reading this, it means I'm no longer by your side. I want you to know I've always believed you would become a brave young man. Martial arts is not about proving superiority or aggression. It's about finding freedom within yourself, about self-respect and inner peace. Life may overwhelm you with injustices and discrimination, but never let anyone steal your fighting spirit. To fight in this sense doesn't mean to seek violence, but rather never to lose your integrity or dreams. I hope you use your strength for good, my son, to protect yourself and to stand up for others too. Love you, Dad, Robert Wilson." Tears fill Trevor's eyes. His father's words flow through him like a healing river, affirming that he's on the right path. After reading the letter, Trevor feels renewed determination. He plans to keep studying and training at Suzuki's dojo. He considers applying to a nearby college so he can stay close to his mother, hoping one day to become a part-time martial arts instructor to support vulnerable kids. He also joins Redwood Against Bullying, a new student initiative inspired by Dr. Helena Moore, a psychologist specializing in bullying prevention, whom the school brought in to lead workshops. On some level, even Alex grows. He doesn't become an angel overnight, but he's less aggressive. His parents finally realize they need to be present in his life rather than simply handing him money. Occasionally, Alex appears at the Redwood Against Bullying sessions, listening quietly, avoiding eye contact. Dr. Moore once said, "Often bullies themselves are pressured by family problems or emotional neglect." Alex lowers his gaze as if acknowledging some truth about himself. Time passes. Trevor enters his final year at Redwood High. At graduation, he stands in a Navy cap and gown, listening as Principal Parker reads each name. Among the graduates are Alex, Derek, Carl, and the friends who once joined Trevor's self-defense group. When Trevor's name is called, a roar of cheers erupts. Marcus, Angela, Sarah, and many others applaud. Trevor steps onto the stage, receives his diploma, and searches the crowd for his mother, Lydia. She stands with tears of pride in her eyes. Later, when families and graduates gather in the courtyard for photos, Alex quietly approaches Trevor. It's the first time they've spoken face-to-face since the tournament. "Congratulations," Alex says with a small, tentative smile. "You too," Trevor replies. Neither says more, but this time the silence is peaceful, unburdened by old hostilities. Trevor plans to study at a nearby college, help his mother at home, and continue training at the dojo. He hopes to teach martial arts part-time to empower younger students. Redwood High still has its share of problems. Bullies don't vanish overnight. But thanks to Trevor's example, an atmosphere of accountability, support, and community has slowly taken root. Through it all, Trevor never wanted to be a hero, just free from oppression. Still, by standing up for himself, he inadvertently inspired others to do the same. And so Trevor has learned an essential lesson. True strength isn't in muscles or power. It's in self-control and mutual support. A bully's greatest weapon is fear. Once fear is gone, the bully is disarmed.